Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TriStar Gym channel. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about Pereira versus Ankalaev. I'm super excited about this fight. Guys, please don't forget to punch in your vote on the poll. I want to see what you guys think about this fight because I think today I'm going to be picking the underdog. I think I'm going to be picking Ankalaev. I haven't looked at the odds or anything like that, but I'm assuming everybody is picking Pereira. Now, I might be totally wrong, okay? But I'm telling you guys right away, I'm picking Ankalaev for this fight, and I'm going to let you guys know why, okay? Guys, don't forget, pick up anything you like on jujiclub.com. Put promo code GET55 off. The promo code is at the bottom of your screen. I released a half guard video, top and bottom. I released a shadow boxing, professional shadow boxing, all sorts of striking videos, all sorts of fitness videos. Make sure to get strong and stable knees, strong and stable back, strong and stable neck, strong and stable shoulders. Keep your body in tip-top shape. Stay healthy for life. No gimmicks, straight to the point. Super effective information. The best information for the best price. I guarantee you guys will never get a better price than this. World-class information at the best price. All the bells and whistles are cut. It's just pure information. Okay. Guys, I'm picking Pereira. Thank you very much. Ramadan Mubarak to you, to the knocker. Guys, I want to wish everybody a Ramadan Mubarak. All the best this Ramadan. May you find peace. May you find when you become closer to God in this month. Okay, it's a beautiful and sacred month. But we have a super fight also in this month, which is Pereira versus Ankalaev. Why am I choosing Ankalaev? I'll tell you why I'm choosing Ankalaev. Okay, I went through their footage, and look, we all know Pereira can win. How does he win? Kick to the head, big powerful hook, scissor knee. Like, he's a devastating striker. He can kick your wheels out from underneath you. He has a chopping low kick that's deadly. He's got a long reach with his leg as well. He's super dangerous standing up. He doesn't win any other way. It's always standing up. Now, he's a brilliant striker. In my opinion, he's the best striker in the world today. I think he is the best striker in the world today of MMA, pound for pound, in the whole world of MMA. If I was building a super fighter, I would take the striking ability of Alex Pereira. However, in this fight, I do believe that Ankalaev is going to be able to stay competitive. Not beat Pereira standing up, but stay competitive. And later in the fight, maybe even start to win the exchanges standing up because of the wrestling threat. Don't forget, Pereira's got to be really sharp and defensive when it comes to the wrestling. Let's not forget, Ankalaev took down Blachowicz. Now, Blachowicz took down Pereira, and it was actually a very, very close fight. We had a very... how should I say, everybody on the post-fight analysis, everybody was arguing about who really won. It was a very close fight. Now, I don't want to rehash Pereira versus Blachowicz, but it was a close fight. It was a very close contest. Now, Ankalaev was getting his wheels kicked out from underneath him by Blachowicz. He was getting his leg chopped, and he did a great job of surviving that. However, I don't think Pereira is going to be able to kick the wheels out from underneath Ankalaev without getting taken down. This time, Ankalaev is going to be a little bit sharper. You saw his fight with Johnny Walker. He was kind of like lifting his leg all the time. He was fighting and lifting. He was pre-checking those kicks. He learned his lesson. He learned this lesson from the Blachowicz fight. And I think he's going to block those kicks. I think he's going to crowd Pereira. I think he's going to get takedowns. And after he softened up Pereira on the ground, their striking is going to get closer and closer. It's going to be more competitive. And ultimately, Pereira is going to be stuck between defending takedowns and worrying about the striking. He's going to have a two-prong attack. Ankalaev is going to have a two-prong attack where Pereira, all you got to really worry about is his strikes. Now, of course, he's got a lot of strikes you got to worry about. He ended the fight with Jiri with a head kick. Almost came out of nowhere, it seemed. Flying knees, left hook. Of course, the left hook, nobody can defend. Nobody can stop. But I really believe that Ankalaev has a little bit more natural size, perhaps, just a little bit. I believe he's going to be getting into the legs. He has very good upper body takedowns as well, follow-up takedowns. And on the ground, you know what? Ankalaev's got too much experience. I don't think, when you look at these two fighters on paper, I don't think Pereira should be getting up. Now, he's a great athlete, but he's not seasoned. I know a lot of you are going to tell me, Coach, he did a lot of MMA. He started in MMA before he did kickboxing. He has a background in MMA. That might be so, but he had never reached high levels of jiu-jitsu. He never reached high levels of jiu-jitsu and wrestling. He mainly was a kickboxer. He focused his career on kickboxing. He's probably stopped doing jiu-jitsu and wrestling altogether, I'm assuming. The man fought and won 2 titles in Glory, in 2 weight divisions, I mean. 2 weight divisions. So I don't think he was doing too much jiu-jitsu. Now, of course, he's went into MMA, but I think he's never really fought a good wrestler. Maybe early in his career, they gave him one good wrestler who kept him on the ground the whole time, and then he did a scissor knee and finished a guy in round 2. Blachowicz was the next good grappler / wrestler, you can say, that fought Pereira, and he was able to get him to the ground, take his back, even though it was a very close fight. I just think Ankalaev can do better than Blachowicz. All right, guys, with that said, I want to take your comments and questions on this fight only, and then we could open it up on absolutely anything. I'm not going to keep this episode too long. I'm imagining, because I'm a little bit tired, but I got energy now. I'm feeling good right now, so let's do it, and let's talk about the fight, and after the fight, I will talk about absolutely anything, okay? Hey, Coach, I don't have okay, guys, I'm just doing the fight right now. OG Bladder, you got it, man. But let's just do the fight for now, guys, please. Thank you very much. Yes, big win on the last weekend. I want to congratulate all the guys who fought, all the guys who trained out of TriStar. We had some very good wins, very close fights. I want to congratulate everybody. Danny Silva, Nazaret Haksparat, of course, Rob Font as well. Great fights, super close fights, tough competition, great fights. So fight of the night, Ribovics and Haksparat, they both got fight of the night. Incredible fight. Okay, guys, we're talking about the fight. What percent for Pereira win over Ankalaev? Your opinion? That's from Vuk. Vuk, I'm giving it 51% chance for Ankalaev to win. 51-49. I think it's a close fight. I just can't. I really can't say there's a clear winner in this. I think it's going to be competitive. However, with Pereira's knockout power, it can end in a second. It can end in a blink of an eye. But also, if he throws those kicks, if he throws those big hooks, he can get taken down. I think those kicks can lead to takedowns. I think that big hook can lead to a body lock. It can lead to a double leg. It can lead to bad news for Pereira. Pereira's going to have to walk a fine line. He's going to have to walk a fine line and be careful that he doesn't get taken down. Look, think about it. He fought Adesanya, okay? Adesanya doesn't shoot. He fought Strickland, as Strickland doesn't shoot. He fought a lot of guys that don't shoot. He fought a lot of guys that really don't have the athleticism he has, and they don't have the wrestling he has. So I think this is a very interesting matchup. Now, if he beats Ankalaev convincingly, and Ankalaev is shooting and can't take him down, it'll blow my mind. Like, it will show that Pereira has evolved as a wrestler and a jiu-jitsu practitioner. It remains to be seen. I'm not convinced yet. I do believe it's possible. Absolutely. It's very, very possible. That's why I'm only giving Ankalaev a 1% advantage. I'm thinking this fight is highly difficult to predict. Let's see how far. That's the big question. How far has Pereira's wrestling and jiu-jitsu come? That's the question we're going to find out. Salam, Coach, do you think Magomed can utilize feints and get Alex to react and leave himself open to strikes to the head? That's from the knocker. Yes, absolutely. Pereira has to be constantly worried about the takedown. And Ankalaev has got to defend the kicks. He's got to defend the hook. He's got to defend the flying knee. He's got to defend the pressure from Pereira. Pereira has a very aggressive striking. But if Pereira gets overly aggressive, overly extend himself, kicks a little too often, he might get that kick caught. And that might be like an easy takedown. Sometimes somebody kicks you and you grab their kick. It's almost a free takedown. It's actually quite easy to do if you can catch the kick. Guys, I gave a Ramadan Mubarak to you all. Thank you very much. Ramadan Mubarak to you all. Why do you think Ankalaev says he will strike with Pereira? He is making a huge mistake, ? That's from Musis. No, I don't think it's a huge mistake. He has to strike with him. He can't just go and shoot in his legs. It's going to be too obvious. Pereira's not a naive guy. For sure, he's wrestling. He's doing wrestling defense. He's going to be sharp on his wrestling defense. He's working on it, I'm sure, over time. It's not going to be an easy takedown. Don't forget, Pereira is a big, strong, powerful athlete. He's not just some guy who kickboxes and he's kind of quick. No. He's quick. He's explosive, but he's also a very strong athlete. He's a very, very powerful man physically. I don't think it's an easy takedown. I just think that you have to set up that takedown. If you don't set up that takedown, you're going to get shut down. So I think it's very wise on Ankalaev's part. Okay, guys, we have a super chat. I'm doing super chats and non-super chats. I'm not gonna stay too long on this fight. I'm very interested in seeing the polls now. We're at 60%. 60% are calling Pereira to win. Coach Frost, what do you think about Magomed getting dropped by those two orthodox left hooks from Thiago Santos and straight lefts and hooks from Jan? Mike, you're totally right. That's the one thing I think which is kind of scary. Santos did a good job on Magomed, but the thing is, you saw he's a survivor, man. He's a survivor. He's good at coming back. He's good at rallying back. He's good at coming back to get the win. It's actually quite surprising, but he does get knocked down. If Pereira connects, man, it's going to be a bad night. It's going to be a bad night, but he was able to get those two guys down. He was able to get Blachowicz down. He was able to get Santos down. I haven't watched those fights in a while, but let me just look real quick. I believe it was unanimous, right? He came back. He got knocked down, and I believe he came back to win unanimous. Okay, 1 second here. Hold on a second. Let's see here. How do you... Okay, Magomed against Santos. It was a unanimous decision. Look, he got dropped and came back to win a unanimous decision. That was 3 years ago, however. Okay, ever since then, he's won. He stopped Anthony Smith. Draw. Oh, it was a draw with Blachowicz. That's right. I forgot about that. Split decision. Split draw. No contest with Johnny Walker. There was the eye poke, and then he rematched Johnny Walker. That's the fight where he was blocking Johnny Walker's kicks like he was walking in like a Thai walk, like the way Thais walk forward. They're checking your kick before you throw it. They're kind of crowding you. I thought it was a great job. He got the KO against Johnny Walker. That was an incredible fight. He had a good unanimous decision win over Rakic, and now he's fighting Pereira. It's a scary thing. Okay, look, he got knocked down by Santos. He got dropped by Blachowicz. But he came back. He rallied back. It was quite interesting how he's able to rally back. Poatan will lose. You heard it here from me. That's from Larry Bird. A gentleman named Larry Bird says that Poatan will lose. Well, I dare you to say that to his face. No, I'm just kidding. Look, he might lose, but man, I hate picking against Pereira. I hate it because this guy has a one-shot knockout strike in all of his limbs. I think in every one of his limbs. Could be by knee, elbow, uppercut. There's no shot I don't think he can't knock anybody out with. And that's a scary thing because it makes fights look like one-sided. But really, if that punch didn't land, it could have led to a takedown, change the whole tempo of the fight. Coach, do you think UFC is punishing Magomed by making him fight during Ramadan? That's from Hani Mali. I don't think so. I don't think they think of that. I think they just kind of book fights. And I know they're sensitive to Ramadan. They know about it. I've talked to them about it. Just sometimes the logistics. I don't think it's that easy for them to book fights. It's not that simple. They have a lot of things up in the air. And I don't think they try to punish people by... I don't think so. No, I mean, I know the UFC quite well. I know the people who are, behind the scenes working. And I don't think there's any of that, to be honest with you. I think it's just like they needed this fight because, it makes sense for their schedule. Logistically, it's such a, man, I'm telling you, UFC is like an orchestra. It's crazy. It's such a huge machine. There's so much going on. There's so many people. And they're the most professional fight organization in the world by a large margin. Like, I've been everywhere around the world. UFC's like they got everything taken care of. Every little detail, every little thing you wouldn't have ever thought of, they thought of it. They pick you up from the airport, you get to your hotel, everything's perfect. They have the diet, they help you make your weight. They help you make your weight, they help you rehydrate, they help you get to the ring, they check your weight. Everything in terms of health is taken care of. They set you up to have a perfect fight experience. All you got to do is fight. All you got to do is show up, make weight, fight. They're so organized. There's so many people, brilliant people making this show the best show on earth, the best fight show on earth. So it's just, it would blow my mind if they tried to factor in something like that. I don't think that's at all on their mind. They're just like, look, we need these fights in these dates because these people fought, this guy won, so it added like this. And they have a formula. They're working, okay? Like, this is the right fight to make at the right time. So, what venues they're working. I don't know what's going on with the venues, but I'm sure that's something they consider. They're not going to throw in another variable like, is it Ramadan or not? But the thing is, I know a lot of fighters refuse to fight during Ramadan. That I know for a fact. Okay, some fighters can train at odd hours. They have the resources to do it. Some fighters are like, hey, man, I can't change my whole gym's schedule, So they refuse to fight during Ramadan. So they tell UFC, and that happens every year. Some guys are not available because of Ramadan. That is true. That's a fact. However, Ankalaev is doing a title fight. Maybe he's organizing his Ramadan in a different way. Maybe he's, there's other rules. Like if his job is at stake, maybe he can do it afterwards, give charity. There's other things. That's something for a mufti to answer. It's not me. But, he has work. That's his job. That's what he does for a living. So maybe he has he made an exception this time, So maybe they work something out is what I'm trying to say. I'm not privy to that conversation. I have no idea. I'm just trying to speculate here. They might have worked something out. Ankalaev starts getting takedowns in the third. Does it go to the end? That's from Mike. Look, I believe Pereira can survive submissions. I believe he's a big, strong, athletic guy. He's done jiu-jitsu a long time ago. He's familiar. He's not like completely naive. He's not naive on the ground. It's just he's focused so much on striking that it would shock me that he's anything above purple belt. And that's including his athleticism. What he knows and his athleticism, he should be about a purple belt, And Ankalaev has been grappling his entire life. Like he's been grappling for a long time. He's a very seasoned grappler. So he should... When you look at it on paper, he should get this fight to the ground, and he should control this fight. Should is a very strong word, though. Ankalaev's striking looked great versus Rakic. He checked Rakic's leg kicks. That's from Coco. True, he did a very good job in the striking, but it's not the same reach and speed, I think, of a two-division champion of glory. So we're going to have to wait and see. But the thing is, it's going to be risky for Pereira to kick. He might get taken down. You kick, you can get taken down as well. Will Alex have the gas tank to go all 5 rounds if Ankalaev spams takedowns? That's from Jeffrey Rodriguez. Not if he scores them. If he scores takedowns and he holds Pereira down for a prolonged period, mat returns. Like as Pereira gets up, he picks him up, puts him back down. Like he just kind of stays on him. Stays on him like a dog on a bone. He will break Pereira. Any man will break. With that much pressure on you for too long, you will break. Okay, no human being can stay underneath a strong, heavy, seasoned grappler who outranks you, outdoes you, and not fatigue. You're going to fatigue. You're being inefficient. So, look, at the end of the day, if Ankalaev gets on top of him, on paper, with the experience Ankalaev has, he should maul him. Should. Santos' lockdown was a slip. That's from Hustle Bones. I haven't seen it in a while, but I'll tell you something. I don't think it was. Let me see that again. I don't think it was. Santos versus Ankalaev. Knockdown. Okay, let's see here. Right here. Where's the knockdown? I think it's right here. Oof, Santos throws heat, man. No, I don't think it was a slip. He kind of hit him behind the ear a little bit. No, the second shot. No, he dropped him, man. That's no slip. He wobbled him at first, and then he dropped him with a hook, man. He viciously dropped him with a hook. Hit him off the top of the head as well. No. Santos legitimately knocked him down. I'm looking at the takedown here. Body lock takedown, picks him up off the hip. Oh, no, it was a trip. It was a Kosoto Gake. Look, Ankalaev, he's not going to be easy to stop, man. His takedowns are there. He's got body lock takedowns. He could shoot the legs. He's not the best at shooting the legs. He's good, but his body lock takedowns and his takedowns on the legs, I think is quite good. Quite good and good enough. All right, guys, I think that's pretty much the fight. I don't want to beat this thing to death. I just worry Ankalaev made a mistake with the Ramadan. That's from Hustle Bones. Well, I saw him in Las Vegas. Well, he was training. I'm not sure. I started fasting March 1st. I don't know. Some people started March 2nd. Okay. I started March 1st. Every year we have a discrepancy of one day. I saw him in the gym. I don't want to say too much, but he seemed like he was working. He was working, but I don't think he was. I'm not sure if he was fasting. Some people started the second, like I said. But he wasn't working super hard. It was kind of like drilling and doing. I think he's working smart. I'm sure he wakes up, eats in the period where you're allowed to eat, and does his hard workout. And then during the day, he probably does like an easier workout. I'm sure he's organizing himself. For sure, this is his big shot, to get a title fight. So who knows, I don't know how he's managing it personally. I have no idea. Pereira versus Ankalaev is such an interesting matchup. We will see the best at light heavyweight. Are truly matchup. And Fiziev versus Justin is an appetizer. That's from Hank the Tank. Hank, I can't wait to see Fiziev versus Gaethje. Personally, I'm going with Fiziev. I think Gaethje's last knockout might have a lot to do with his performance this time. He might be, having flashbacks, big doubts. I mean, I think Max Holloway, if Fiziev gets a knockout, it could be a lot of help from Max Holloway. I don't know how if your chin can be the same after a knockout like that. I think he's coming back a little too quickly. I think maybe this is like just him being stubborn, wanting to get back in there. If I was him, I think I would have took a really long time off. I would have done a bunch of tests. I mean, I would have took my time. But he's back in there with one of the hardest hitters, Fiziev. Fiziev is a dangerous man. And I think last time it was close. This time, I think Fiziev is going to surpass him. All right, guys. I'm going to tell you something. The last thing I'm going to say about this fight, I really feel that Ankalaev, he's a survivor. Like he's been hurt in fights. He's been down in fights. He's been in trouble in fights, and he finds a way. He's got that thing where he's digging. He's clawing for a fight. Like he's clawing for a victory. He doesn't let victories slide by. He doesn't let losses he doesn't accept losses. Okay, he's very hard to convince that he's going to lose. He fights to the end. I love that about him. You watch his fights. There's no quit in him. He's always clawing his way to a win, even when things look dire. That's what I like about him. I like that about him. He's got superior wrestling. I'm going to go 51-49 in the favor of Ankalaev. Okay, guys, with that said, let's open it up to anything now. Fitness, fighting, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, boxing, MMA, or anything at all. Favorite food to break your fast with? That's from Lazy Bed. Well, I always do a date, of course. Everybody does dates. And now I've been on I've been doing like healthy versions of burgers. I do pizzas, healthy versions. So very low calorie, high protein foods. And, I make a healthy pizza, right? I'm not ordering from any fast food stores, but I make a healthy pizza. Or I make today I had chicken breast with boiled potatoes. I do a lot of boiled potatoes, guys. Don't underestimate the potato. Super simple potato. You chop it up, you boil it for 10 minutes, you add salt, you mix it up. That's it. Don't touch anything else to it. Salt, boiled potato. It's a great, you can add a little ketchup. If you're a ketchup guy, I like ketchup. I put a little bit of ketchup. I put that with a lean side of beef, a little bit of fruit and salad, or maybe the fruit is after, but a little bit of salad to get your vegetables in. Boiled potatoes are super satiating. You want the foods with the most calories and also are the most satiating. It's very hard to overeat boiled potatoes. It's very hard. Now, you can overeat boiled potatoes if you set your mind to it, but they're very filling. They're very satiating, especially boiled because they soak up the water. They're hydrating. They're incredibly nutritious. However, they're not super high in protein. That's why you need that lean beef. Okay, you guys know me. I'm a low-fat guy. I do high protein, I do high carb, but I do low fat. Okay, low fat is about 30 to 50%. Excuse me, not 30 to 50%. 30 to 50 grams a day. And I only upped it because, I got recommended I should up it a bit because my fats are too low, perhaps. It can affect my hormones, so I experimented with upping it. But I stay lean. I stay in shape when I eat a lot of potatoes, boiled potatoes, and lean cuts of meat. Chicken breast, super satiating. I do a lot of extra lean beef. A lot of extra lean beef. Extra lean, though. And I enjoy my food, man. I really enjoy my food. Sometimes I make burgers. Sometimes I make pizzas. I make a very healthy pizza. The crust of the pizza is really, really easy to make. I use Greek yogurt, flour, egg or egg white. Okay, depending if I want to trim down on the calories. You mix that all up. It's like a liquid. It comes like this really mushy liquid. You lay it out on a tray. You cook it for 10 minutes. It comes out like a piece of bread. Don't forget, you have flour in there. You have Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt and flour, it makes bread. If you mix Greek yogurt and flour together, it'll make a dough, and you can cook a nice bread. Then I put a little light marinara sauce on there, like something really light. I put the toppings, vegetables as much as I want. I don't count green and white vegetables. So I do mushrooms, onions. I put a lot of vegetables, and then I'll put the extra lean ground beef on top, put it back in the oven, cook it. No cheese, guys. If you want a cheese taste on your pizza, put nutritional yeast. Again, it's very high in protein, low in calorie, and it has that cheesy flavor. Okay, but I do a lot of pizzas, no cheese. Even when I order pizza, let's say I order pizza, I'm on the road, I can't make my own food. I'll order a pizza, no cheese. Pizza can be healthy if you take off the cheese. So I enjoy it. I eat it like that. A lot of fighters have gotten onto pizza, no cheese. A lot of my fighters now, they see me eat pizza, no cheese. I make them eat pizza, no cheese. I order pizza and like, we eat pizza without cheese. And like, it doesn't make you feel sleepy. When you eat pizza, no cheese, you can go and train. It's actually a great way to carb up. It's a very good way to carb up. Now, it's not high in protein. That's the downside, right? You'd have to find another protein source. But let's say you're stuck and you got to eat fast food. Pizza, no cheese. Because don't forget, 1 gram of carbohydrates is only 4 calories. 1 gram of protein is only 4 calories. 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. I don't have enough fingers to show you how many calories it is. It's 9. It's more than double the calories. So when I eat bread with no cheese, I'm getting a lot of carbs. I'm full. I'm feeling satiated. But I don't have that many calories in my stomach because the bread is it's not calorically dense. The fat, the cheese, that's calorically dense. So by lowering the fat, guys, you can eat more, feel satiated. Now, you don't want to overeat either. That's not a good thing. But you can eat a lot of carbs, a lot of lean proteins, and stay lean and feel great for training because you need those carbohydrates for training. You need that protein to build muscle, to have muscle. If you don't eat your proteins, guys, you're going to start getting really skinny and scrawny. Coach, do you advise a 245-pound fighter to do sprints or bad for the knees? That's from Mo. Look, if you know how to run properly, if you do pose method, look, I have a video called Strong and Stable Running. Make sure to check out that video. I show you a modified version of pose. You won't hurt your knees, but I don't recommend you do more running than, I would say, once or twice a month. Okay. The rest you can use Airdyne. You could do plyometrics. You could do all the other ways to get your cardio. Okay. You could do a lot of other ways. You could do bag work. Bag work could be very good. Like intervals on the bag. One day I'm going to release videos on how to do intervals on the bag. You could do intervals on the bag to raise your heart rate. Okay. So get a heart rate monitor. See how high you can get it during sprints. See if you could replicate it on the bag. You could for sure replicate it on an air bike. Okay. So an Airdyne. A row machine. Row machine is not as easy, but after a while, you can get your heart rate really, really high, but it's tough. It's a tough workout. But I also recommend doing a rower. The rower could be very, very good for heavy weights. The thing is, don't overdo it on the rower because it's too stable. So you're not working your stabilizers. You're really working only your prime movers. So when you go back on the mat and you're wrestling, your prime movers are strong. Your stabilizers are not strong. So I wouldn't do too much rowing. Okay, you want to do something that challenges your stability. Stability is safety. Okay, if your stability is not strong, you're going to lose a limb. Okay, so I would tell you don't run too often because you're going to create inflammation. Inflammation is going to lead to injury. Once, twice a week, though, hit those sprints. Why? It's so important to be able to explode off the ground. It's super important. So I highly recommend you do some running, but you have to run the correct way. Don't be a heel striker. Don't be a guy who lands on his heel when he runs. Okay, it's just really horrible. What's the best takedown from collar tie? There's no one takedown from collar tie. Okay, so personally, me, when somebody collar ties me, I like to go 2-on-1. I like to thumb post and like pull their arm off my neck, strip their grip. I don't like anybody controlling my head. Okay, so I don't shoot off a collar tie. I don't think it's the best way to do it, but some people do. Okay, some people love when somebody collar ties them. They have a high crotch. Man, I don't put my head under anybody's arm. I don't like to put my head in a guillotine position, so I don't do high crotch too much. I think high crotch is a good takedown if you're not fighting a guillotiner. Okay, so it can't be my base. If it was the base takedown, let's say I high crotch on everybody, that's my move. Well, when you come across guillotiners, you're giving them a gift because they're going to guillotine you. So me, I don't put my head under there unless I know the guy's not a guillotiner or the match is really tight and I got to score. So, okay, I'll risk my neck because I got to get score. But I generally don't put my head under somebody's arm, so I won't high crotch. If I had to pick it, if you put me against the wall here and tell me pick one, I would do a sweep single, so a spin single. That's probably my favorite entry. It's one of the best ways to get in somebody's legs and take them down. Coach, is there going to be an alt season or is it all over? That's from Katu. Katu's asking me, look, Coach, usually it's Bitcoin that goes on a run. And then after that, it's the usually it's actually Ethereum. It's not anybody else. It's the smart contracts like Ethereum, but really Ethereum. And then you have Solana, Avalanche, now Sui. Those large cap start moving up. And then it's the altcoins, the coins where like you never heard of them. They start spiking. So it's always Bitcoin first. Ethereum follows. Then the smart contracts that are not the size of Ethereum yet, they start going. And then it's these altcoins, weird coins you never heard of. Weird coins like almost meme coins, like they start to skyrocket. But this time we've seen a really weird cycle. Bitcoin really went super high. Ethereum didn't follow suit. XRP exploded at one point. That's a very complicated reason why. It's a lawsuit and there's many reasons why, but let's not get into that. XRP shot forward. And the alt season, which has always followed Bitcoin's run, didn't follow this time. Actually, we had a crash. Well, let me tell you why we had a crash. Because there's a tariff war going on. The altcoin season should have happened. It was interrupted by Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump has altered the crypto market. Make no mistake about it. He's now put a 25% tariff on Canada. Canada is now retaliating. China's retaliating. And Mexico, everybody's putting tariffs on everybody. It's going to pass the cost ultimately in the end to the consumer. When America wants to buy something from Canadians, they're going to have to pay a 25% tariff. Now, there are different kinds of tariffs. There are two major tariffs, but basically, when they buy those goods, they're going to have to pass the cost onto the customer. It's going to cost more. So people are scared. When people are scared, they sell their stock. They sell their crypto. They think that, hey, we're not going to make as much money. I need my money to pay my bills, which is crazy because I think in the opposite manner. I think, hey, when things get expensive, I'm happy to have assets because now what we have is rising inflation. Things are going to get more expensive. When inflation goes up, in my opinion, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. Okay, don't take this. This is just me rambling about my own thoughts here. Don't take any financial advice from me. But me, when inflation goes up, I don't want to have cash. Cash is the worst thing. I want to have assets. I want to own a building. I want to own gold. I want to own crypto. I want to own something that's going to raise in value because money is being diluted. So I think it's crazy people sell off. But people sell off because they take money that they needed and put it in crypto or stocks. And then when they're scared because things are going to get expensive, they reach for their money before everybody else does. So it collapsed the market. The market is dropping quick. It's dropping bad. And I think it has a lot to do with Trump's ego. Trudeau went on the internet and said, Trump, you're a smart guy, but this was really dumb. He said something along those lines. He called Trump dumb. Guys, I'll tell you something. I think Trump, it's all about his ego. You got to play through his ego. By calling him dumb publicly, Trump now is infuriated. He only wants one thing. He wants pain. He wants Canadians to feel pain now. Why? Because our leader said he's dumb. He wants to make an example out of him. Now, I'll tell you something. Canada's a huge ally of the U.S. Like anything U.S. does, Canada follows suit. Canada's like the little brother that wants to follow the big brother wherever he goes. Do whatever he says. Looks up to him and never questions him. And now Canada's like, hey, we got to become more rebellious here. I think Trump is pushing Canada to align itself with Mexico, China, other foreign groups I won't name. Why? Because everybody's getting punched by this guy named Trump. Trump is going out there and scaring everybody. He's telling everybody, hey, guys, I saw what he did to the Ukrainian president. Now, look, I'm not a fan of any politician. Okay, I'm not a fan. I think all of them are kind of corrupt. And I think Trump said some good things to Zelensky, and I think he said some very bad things. Like one, I agree with him. Zelensky acts like a tough guy. He walks in like he's a fighter, like he's gonna kick ass. It's like, dude, wait, calm down. I love what Trump said to him. Trump said to him, "You're gambling with millions of lives. You're gambling with World War III." Like, I love to see him put Zelensky in his place in terms of bravado. And it worked because Zelensky came back and he capitulated. He wrote a tweet saying, under the strong leadership of Trump, stuff like that. Like stuff nobody would ever say. But you hear that buzzword, strong leadership. Trump loves to be called a strong leader. He's super strong. He's the strongest leader. He's so strong and mighty. Nobody's ever been so mighty as him. They're going to put his face up on Mount Rushmore. He's so strong and mighty. He was the strongest president we ever had. Strong leader. He loves that stuff. It's kind of like a Kim Jong-il type thing. He loves to be praised. And Zelensky capitulated and gave up his resources. They're going to get lithium. They're going to get all sorts of minerals, etc. But here's the thing. I think Zelensky made a deal with the devil. America was supposed to protect Ukraine. So you forget about the relationship. Ultimately, the UN, the US, the West, Europe was supposed to protect Ukraine. Ukraine was doing a lot of dirty work, fighting the Russians, not asking Europeans to come in, not asking American foot. They were doing the hard work. They were fighting. Now, a lot of people have different opinions on the war. I'm not going to touch that, okay? I don't know the real start of the war. I don't know the history. I'm not going to touch that. But from what I understand, looking from here, Ukraine was doing the fighting. Europe was egging them on. Do it, do it, do it. Fight Russian. Raise hell in Russia. And now Trump is like, hey, I'll pull the plug on you in a second. You can't survive without me. I think Trump is kind of coming in and kind of just dismissing all the promises in history and all the other relationships Ukraine had with the West. J.D. Vance actually even told Zelensky, he's like, you came in here and you campaigned for the other side, meaning Biden. You campaigned for Biden. Like, it's personal, man. It's personal. Like, these personal relationships, the Trump administration and the Zelensky administration are making decisions based on their personalities, not on the common good of their nations. It's kind of weird. It's like, oh yeah, you're gonna insult me just because I want to make you suffer. I'm gonna make this move, and it's like, wait a second, the Ukrainians are gonna suffer from this move, not just Zelensky. Zelensky's like he's a rich guy who's going to travel the world, and he'll go, if Ukraine suffers, he'll just go somewhere else. He's a famous guy. He's a well-known guy. He's got friends in big places. I just found it very curious how they clashed on a personal level. And I do like the fact that Trump was sensitive to people losing their lives. That's, I think, is very important as a world leader. He's like, hey man, you're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with millions of people's lives. We want to make a deal here. And I'm always for peace, of course. But I understand that the Ukrainians want certain demands met. But it seems that Trump didn't care. He seems to favor Putin, which is crazy because the Biden administration was a 180 in that regard. They don't want Putin. They were like, we'll support Zelensky till the end. What a crazy turnaround. Guys, I want to hear your comments and questions. I know I ranted on there, but make Canada free again. That's from 7-6. Canadian politicians need to compliment him, talk his talk. The Conservative Party should establish ties with the Republicans just like the Liberals have ties with the Democrats. That's from Jay Goodman. Well, they're starting that in Canada now. Canada d'abord. Canada first. Like America says America first. Now Canadians are copying them. Canada first. Not only Canada first. I think it should be a win-win. Because imagine US says US first. Canada says Canada first. Now we're all clawing at each other to fight for the same morsel. No, it should be something fair, mutually beneficial, cooperative, win-win. Okay, like in the 7 habits, one of the most important habits is thinking win-win. That's how groups are successful. Groups are successful when they cooperate. They're not successful when they're being selfish, thinking one-dimensionally. I want more. I deserve more all the time. So what happens in that case? People start to conspire against one another. I think they got it totally wrong. I think Pierre Poilievre and Trump got it totally wrong. It's not Canada first. It's not America first. It's the people first, the common good first, cooperation first, win-win first. And we used to have a win-win relationship. Now it's all of a sudden a trade war, where we had a trade agreement before, and Trump came in and was like, hey, no, I'm not going by the trade agreement. No, scrap all that. We want more money. We're going to take more money. It's like, yeah, well, the whole world's going to do that now. The whole world now is pointing a gun at each other. It's what they call a circular firing squad. You're going to shoot at me. I'm going to shoot right back at you. It's not a good way to create synergy. And synergy creates success. It's a bad way it's a bad way to approach your neighbors. Imagine I was like, look at my neighbors. Hey, my home first, my property first. Screw you. It's like, whoa, man, you're my neighbor. You're my neighbor, man. If you need something, don't be shy to ask. I'm happy to always help. This is a better attitude. Okay, guys, I missed the super chat. I'm always doing super chats and non-super chats. I missed the beginning. Who do you got? If Ankalaev KOs Alex, I will be amazed. Ankalaev can threaten takedowns with his strikes and then boom. Can't believe Ankalaev wants to stand and bang. Speechless. Excited for this fight. Shiz, I'm super excited for this fight, and I'll tell you, I am also choosing Ankalaev. I'm choosing Ankalaev. The chat has it at 59% in favor of Pereira. I have to disagree. I'm giving 51% to Ankalaev. I think this is interesting. Of course, you're right. Boom, one shot, Pereira can win. It can look like a total blowout, but also Ankalaev can mix it up to the striking to set up his takedowns, drown him in the later rounds, get heavy on top. Maybe he's not the best finisher in submissions, but he can get heavy on top, break him, fatigue him, take him in later rounds, and keep working him. And the takedowns can get easier and easier if he's effective on the ground. If he's breaking Pereira on the ground, which on paper he should be able to do. He has more experience. He has more years of wrestling. He should. On paper, he should be able to do it. We're going to find out this weekend. Okay, guys, if I miss a super chat, I apologize. I'm going to scroll back and double check. Coach, Coach Zahabi, in my humble opinion, Magomed is Dagestani, but not a true grappler. He's a striker who can grapple. He fought completely orthodox for the entire Abreu fight. Normally, he's southpaw, of course. That's from Mike L. Look, he's a wrestler. He got Santos to the ground. He got Blachowicz to the ground. He got pretty much everybody to the ground. So he's not the best wrestler. I'm not saying he's the best wrestler, but he's a good seasoned wrestler. He's been wrestling a long time. And look, in wrestling, they know how to gut wrench. They know how to spiral break. They know how to do mat returns. He should be able to hold Pereira down with his years of wrestling. He should be able to hold Pereira down. Now, I'm not saying he's the slickest grappler, like in terms of submission, but in terms of staying on top, punishing rides, controlling, bringing Pereira back down to the mat if Pereira tries to get to his knees, just bringing him back to the mat with force and technique and wearing out Pereira. That's how I see it. Tough call, though. Very, very tough call. Over the moon with the last win last weekend. The Moroccan line is here to take over. That's from Ryan Boudin. Ryan, you're a gentleman, a scholar. Thank you very much. It was a huge win. Fight of the night. Ribovics, Nasrat, they put on an incredible show. Every minute of that fight was exciting. The UFC was super thrilled about it. After I went to talk to Sean Shelby and Hunter, and they were like super like what a fight, man. What a crazy fight. Those guys fought to the bitter, and it was an incredible fight. If you guys didn't see it, make sure to check it out. Incredible fight, super tight fight all the way through. The judges had it. Two judges had for Nasrat in the first round. Second round, all three judges had it for Nasrat, but it was a very close fight. Second round was very close. Nasrat edged it out on the judges. All three of them gave it to Nasrat. And in the last round, I believe two judges gave it to Ribovics. Crazy, intense fight. Super happy for both those guys. I mean, after the fight, I told both fighters, look, like there's no loser in this fight, you know. This was such a competitive and exciting fight. Everybody was super enthusiastic about it. And, sometimes the performance is so great. I always tell guys, like, there's no loser in that fight, you know. Like, okay, the judges had to pick a winner, but you can't think of the other guy as the loser. He put on such a good performance. It was a dance back and forth. It was so close. People are going to have their opinions on who won or whatnot, but at the end of the day, they got a fight bonus. That's Ribovic's second fight bonus in a row, so I look forward to seeing his next fight. He's an incredibly seasoned fighter. Like, he's super smart, super intelligent, super technical, and everywhere. Like, just everywhere. And I can't wait to see. I'm a huge fan of his now. Of course, Nasrat as well. Like, these guys just put on such a great show. Okay, guys, don't forget, I'm always doing super chats and non-super chats. Guys, don't forget, use Get 55 off. Don't forget to punch in the promo code when you go to jujiclub.com. You have videos on everything. Fitness, grappling, wrestling, striking, boxing, everything. Okay, check it out. It's incredible information for the best price. You'll never get a better price. I make sure that I have the best price. Always use that promo code. Don't forget to punch it in. If you forget to punch it in, guys, I can't do anything about it. Okay, don't write me emails with a sob story. There's nothing I can do about it. We decided we're not doing that anymore. If the guy can't punch it in, he forgot. That's his fault because we're getting too much of that. Just don't forget. It's super simple. It's on the website. It's on the bottom of your screen. It's in the description. You can't miss, guys. I make it super easy to spell. It's just the word get 55 off. You can't forget it. It's too easy. Coach is doing it to make it easy for you, so you don't write in with the sob story, okay? Make BJJ great again. That's what I'm care. We're working on it. Believe me. We're working on it. It's coming. All right, guys. Coach, did you see the UFC removing the Palestinian flag from Bilal Muhammad's tag on the card, but other fighters kept their flag? That's from Yusuf. Yes, I saw that. I actually brought it to somebody's attention. I don't know why they would do that. You know, I just see like, why are they banning that flag? It just doesn't make sense. You know, it's really sad, you know, but I know things are very sensitive now, but I just find that's not right, you know. I don't know. We're going to find out why. I think people should ask, you know, they should ask publicly, what's going on here? Why are you removing this flag? Coach, for us, Ayman needs to get better on the mic. He's accomplished some amazing feats in the octagon. He should have translated for what helped his brand. Oh, look, I don't know much about that. Okay, I was in the press conference. I was in another country for another fight, Mike L. So maybe you should write him publicly. Just write him a DM or something. But I appreciate that, Mike L. I'm not really managing his speech talk career. I'm really just focused on his fighting. But you know, maybe in the future I'll slip him a word. Harris V, Salam Coach, have you had a chance to try wrist rides, MMA gloves, wrist straps, covers, a reusable alternative to taping your MMA gloves before practice? We've been getting great feedback from top fighters. That's from Harris V. I received the package, Harris. I got home, I received the package. Guys, I was away for 1 month. I did 2 episodes. I'm kind of happy that I did episodes on the road, guys, because usually I was like, if I'm on the road, I don't do the episode. But now on, I'm going to change that. I'm bringing the mics with me. I'm getting set up. Because I was always like iffy about it, doing it on the road. How am I going to set up the laptop? And I figured it out. It worked. I'm super happy. And I came home. I got the wrist rides. I haven't tried them yet. Okay, I'm going to try to remember to take them to the gym and have the guys try them out and try them on myself. So please check with me next week, and hopefully I'll have done so. But right now, I haven't tried them yet, okay? Because I just got back from 1 month, okay? From 1 month of being on the road, almost 1 month, like a few days short of 1 month. So I've been a very busy man. Coach, I need your honest truth about Russia, Soviet Union. When it was called the USSR? During those times, it was communism, correct? Question mark. I think it still is communism. Russia is still a communist state. People got free education, health, and everyone got paid equally. Did the system work? Question mark. That's some shiz. Well, shiz, that's a really, really intense question. A lot of people differ. Personally, I always ask one thing, okay? Why are all the inventions always coming from capitalist countries and not communist countries? Well, because in communism, think about this. You have your share of rice. You have your ultimately speaking, okay, if you study Karl Marx, communism, real communism, there's no government. We've never had an actually, truly communist state, okay? So don't forget, Marx, guys, don't forget, when you study philosophy, and that's my background, you have to study Marx. There's no way of getting around it. You have to study Marx. Marx is a lot in politics. It doesn't talk about logic too much. It doesn't talk about, you know, all the crazy stuff I always talk to you guys about, determinism, morality. No. He's politics. Okay. Now he's saying, look, a country has to be a social country. Then it goes to another level, and it's like different layers of communism. Okay, it's not my forte, communism. Okay, I'm not the best at Marx, the thoughts of Marx, but basically, ultimately, we won't need a government. We're just gonna govern ourselves. Who's gonna cut the grass? Who's gonna pave the roads? We're going to take turns. We're going to do it because we're good guys. You know, we're going to take care of the country like we take care of our own home. You don't have to pay me to cut my own grass. I'll cut my own grass because I want my grass to be nice. He thinks that man can evolve to that level where we're all just going to take care of the country because we're good guys. I think that's crazy. I think humanity is really far from that. So think about it. In a communist country, the government is responsible for you. You have to have housing. You have to have your share of rice and vegetables and foods and meat. You have to have your car. You have to have a job. You're going to show up to a job. You have a quota. You go into the factory, you do your quota. Now, your life is set up. Everything should be taken care of. You should have universal health care. You should get your fair share of the pie. Marx said, look, the worker is more important than the founder of the company. The worker should get the benefit, which I think is totally crazy. Let me tell you why, okay? It's not because I'm a cruel human being and I don't want workers to get their fair share. No, of course I want the workers to get their fair share. Absolutely. I think there's a balance between communism and capitalism, yes. But communism, free market is ultra important. Why? Think about it. Think what Marx is doing. You know, when you go to daycare, everybody gets their fair share. You get a peanut butter jelly sandwich and a milk, and you get your little mat so you can take your nap, and everybody's going to take turns finger painting. Everybody's equal all the time, no matter what. It's not merit-based. In capitalism, everything is merit-based. You want money? Earn it. The more you provide the world with a service or a product, the more we'll pay you. The better your product is, the more we'll give you money. If you're a brilliant guy, do something brilliant that makes our lives better, we'll pay you for it. You have a great idea, we'll patent it for you. And we'll protect your idea. Now, anybody who tries to copy your idea, they're going to have to pay you if they copy your idea. Or they can't copy your idea, they have to ask you for permission. They have to pay you. At the end of the day, you got to get paid for this idea. So capitalists are always sitting around thinking, how could I make a lot of money? How could I bring value to the world? How could I solve problems? The communist is sitting home. He's got his fair share of rice and vegetables and meat. His pay is the same no matter what he does. He's got to go to work every day and do a quota. Let's say he's making bicycles. He's got to make 1 bicycle a day. If he's super efficient and he makes 3 bicycles a day, the other workers are upset with him. They're like, hey man, why are you showing us up? The quota is 1 bike a day. Don't do better than 1 bike a day. If you build 3 bikes a day, you're making us look bad. They're going to want us to make 3 bikes a day. So workers would drag their feet. They would take their time. They would just barely meet the quota. Why? If you go any higher, you're pissing everybody else off. You're basically telling the whole world, hey, we could work harder. Where in capitalism, if you make 3 bikes a day and they're the best bikes, you're going to make more money. There's a reward. Look at shows like Shark Tank. You have all these people coming up with new ideas, trying to problem solve, trying to add value to society. Why? Because in a capitalist model, you can get rich. In a communist model, the government will take it from you. Because communists, you'll see that the government lives in luxury and the common man lives in poverty. It's always the case. Because they have to share with everybody. Nobody's producing. Everybody's producing the minimum. So there's never been a communist country that's produced anything revolutionary. Now, China is an exception. Why? We're building everything in China because it's cheap labor. But when you build something in China, you got to give them your blueprints. You got to tell them how to build it. Even military technology, a lot of components that go in warships, that go in airplanes, they're built in China. So you got to give them the blueprints. So China is like a hub now of technology. They're getting everybody's technology. I think it's a huge mistake ultimately because you're giving your intellectual property over to a foreign body who's, okay, they're going to make you cheap products, but over time, they're collecting intellectual property from everywhere around the world. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to have the best technology, even though they didn't invent it. And good luck trying to sustain your patent in China. You know, if they copy your product and you try to sue China, it's not going to happen. The Chinese government doesn't care. The Chinese government is encouraging his people to copy, you know. I always tell my Chinese students, copyright doesn't mean you have the right to copy. No, but seriously speaking, it's the first communist country that's getting cutting edge technology. Now, yes, Russia had cutting edge technology. Yes. But how did they get it? When the Germans collapsed, when the Germans were sacked, who sacked Berlin? It was the Russian. The Russians got all their secret files, all their data. But that was done by the Germans. It wasn't done by the Russians. The Russians were savvy. They were smart. They were putting a lot of dollars behind the war. And yes, the government can make advancements. They were the first in space. There are exceptions, yes. But the people, I'm talking about the people, the general public, they don't move. They're not thinking of the next super invention. Why? Because they have their quota of food. They have their quota of gas, their quota for a car. Their health is taken care of. They're sitting They're never going up. There's no promise of a better life. There's no promise of, you cannot have more. But in America, they're like, hey, man, you can have this mansion over here. You just got to work for it. You got to come up with some kind of solution that makes everybody's life better. All right, guys, don't forget, I'm always doing the super chats, but I'm also going to do non-super chats. How much will Ramadan affect this fight? That's from Jack Joe. This is really hard to tell. Really hard to tell. Look, he's fighting for a title fight. Maybe he's training at I don't know. Maybe he's training in the evening. The sun's going down. It's not that late nowadays. It's not that late. Maybe he's training in the late evening. Maybe he has 2 sparring partners that will come in that time. He has his trainers that do mitts. He has a good wrestling partner. He could do the whole workout maybe in the evening, but it's probably going to cost a lot of money if he has the budget for it. And his coaches are willing to change the hours. It's not impossible to work around for one guy, but he probably couldn't change the dynamics of an entire gym. People are not going to want to come in at that time or whatnot, but he can find 2-3 guys. I'm sure he's organized himself. I'm assuming. So I have no idea, guys. It could be a major factor. Maybe he's not that organized. Maybe I'm just assuming it, but I think you'd have to organize something. Hey, for us, your brother recently said you would fight if the money was right. Would you? Who is your dream matchup in GFL? Gave you FU money. That's from Dave Sadin. Look, if they gave me tons and tons of money, I'd pretty much fight anybody they want. So. But who would I want to watch fight for fun? It would be an exciting fight. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I don't know. A fun, exciting fight. I don't know. I'll let you guys pick. Actually, I want you guys to pick. I don't know. I don't know. I never thought of that, actually. Somebody my size and who has experience, of course. And then everybody would be like, wow, we got to see this fight. That would be cool. I don't know. You guys throw me names. I don't know. Somebody more my age as well, guys. Somebody more my age. Sheikh, why does my back hurt in lotus position? That's from Ryan. You have to put your spine neutral. Okay, so you have to put your spine neutral. If you're in a sitting position, in the lotus position is the most stable position. So it shouldn't be hurting. You might have a pinched nerve. You might have a bulging disc. Check strong and stable back. I've grandfathered that question. Decompress your spine slowly. Do abs. You got to work your abs. You got to be in neutral position. I go over all that. Okay, learn how to hang your back on a chair. Guys, you know how many times I get back questions? It's crazy. 80% of people suffer from back pain. Just get the video. Goodness gracious. Look, I'm decompressing my spine as we speak right now. I do it throughout the day. I do it whenever my back is feeling tight. It's super simple. It's not complicated, but there's a lot to know, guys. Okay, so I'm grandfathering that question. Fight Mickey Gall. That's from Hunter. He was one of my old students. I can't fight one of my old students. CM Punk. Okay, come on, Dave Sadin. Don't make me ban you here. Oh my goodness. Coach Zahabi, the new shadow boxing is one of my favorite instructionals. Gracias. I'd like to ask specifically, where is the most effective target to land on a stabbing tip to the body? That's from Sparky No. Guys, that video is really good. I just released professional shadow boxing. It's a great video. It's a no-nonsense how to fight, how the pros fight, how they drill. Of course, everything in that video you can do on the bag, but I show it to you through shadow because I talk about the benefits of shadow. I talk about how to lose weight with shadow boxing, why you cannot always sprint every day. Okay, so sprinting is very important, but after I sprint once or twice a week, after I do a hard workout, I need to recover, I do aerobic work. If you work between 60 to 70% of your max, you go right into fat reserves, so you get really lean. Shadow boxing is a great way to get lean. Some days you shouldn't hit the bag because your body's a bit sore. Shadow boxing is the answer, guys. Whenever your body's sore, we do what we call active rest. You do a workout that actually helps you recover faster. It has to be an aerobic workout. Now, aerobic work is very important for the later parts of the fight. It's also very good for keeping a lean physique. It's also very important for developing incredible skill because you're doing the movement so many times that when the moment comes, you won't even think about it. Bang! You're gonna hit your target. Okay, so I talk about why shadowboxing is so important, what made Muhammad Ali so great. Muhammad Ali was a very serious shadowboxer, among many other great fighters. Okay. Make sure you use the promo code. You can get 55 off. Please don't buy without the promo code. It's a great way to work out when you're a little bit tight, a little bit sore. Okay. Also, grapplers, guys, you should know how to punch and kick. Don't be one of those guys who doesn't know how to punch and kick. Please, because you're not able to defend yourself. If all you know is jiu-jitsu, in my opinion, you're not really truly able to defend yourself. Okay. So you're asking me what's the best place to teep the body? It's the liver. The liver, guys. The liver's on the right side of the human being. You want to teep the liver, not the diaphragm, not the gut. That could be a good target. It's not the best target. The liver. The second best target, I would tell you, is the chin. It's funny, Ankalaev, he knocked down, I'm forgetting his name, this guy, he teeped him to the chin. Now, I don't think he could teep Pereira to the chin. Pereira's too tall and he knows that kick. But you guys saw Machida do it. You saw Anderson Silva do it. When you teep somebody to the jaw, the chin, it could be very devastating. So I will tell you, number one is the liver. Number two is the chin. If you hit the guy in the jaw, you could really knock a guy out like that. And I would say after that would be the sternum. If you teep somebody right in the sternum, that bone there, that right, the diaphragm / where the sternum and diaphragm meet, that's really painful. Tony Ferguson. Salam, coach. What's the issue with button pushers? Why the hate? Your website is made by button pushers. Haha, that's a mediocre king. No, mediocre king. I love the button pushers. Guys, I respect the button pushers. I think they're some of the most powerful people in the world. I would never say anything negative about button pushers. I just call them button pushers because for me, it's like so mind-blowing that they push buttons and things happen out in the real world. It's a mind blow. It's like you push the button and things change and now I could talk to millions of people. It blows my mind how they did it. Think about it. They connected all their computers together around the world. They relayed wires. They did all this. They made a system where they can push buttons and now I could talk to people around the world. How did they do it? Well, they pushed a bunch of buttons and I'm sure they laid a lot of cables out. They did a lot of crazy technology stuff, but it's just a mind blow because for me, it's like, wow, you push the button and it works. It just blows my mind. Now, I'm not a good button pusher. I'm very weak on the button pushing skill. I'm like a worm. In the button pushing world, I'm a worm. So these guys are way higher than me. Like for me, just turning on the computer and getting sound is really challenging. But there's people out there, they're pushing buttons, they're changing the world. Satoshi was a button pusher. That's from Zane. Zane, you're a gentleman and a scholar. You're right. Look how much Satoshi Nakamoto changed the world. He changed the world. We're picking cat names. My daughter and wife, they got another cat. They want to pick cat names. And they came up with the worst names. I was like, look, let's call him Satoshi. No, we hate Satoshi. I'm like, dude, you guys don't understand. The man changed the world. They didn't want to name him Satoshi. They didn't see the brilliance of Satoshi. They just don't see it. They don't understand it. This guy pushed a bunch of buttons and he changed the world market forever. He created listen to me carefully. He created the most successful asset in human history. There is no asset that has ever appreciated more than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is literally up 2 million %. Like it's never been done before. Other guys have tried it before Satoshi. Satoshi's the first guy to get it right. He pushed the buttons in a certain way that he disrupted the world market. The U.S. is going to get, I'm very confident the U.S. is going to get a Bitcoin reserve. And then Russia, China. He changed the global economy. I'm going to be dead in the ground. And this thing called Bitcoin is going to still be changing the world. It is truly a mind-boggling invention. A cat named Bill Gates, ? No. No, we had a whole bunch of names, and we all voted on them. And a name I picked won first place. I want you guys to guess the name, though. Hello, Zahabi. I'm amazed me how you balance so many things, and I hope to have this level of work ethic. What is your thought process to follow? Question mark. I'm 18. That's from Cacao. Cacao, I would tell you, do what you love. You know, like for me, philosophy was fun. I enjoyed it, so I did a lot of it. And martial arts was like super fun, so I just did a lot of it. But don't, like, you know, you got to also have a plan. Like, how you going to make money? How you going to live? You know, like how you going to earn your living? And, you know, I'm interested in history. I'm interested in science. I'm interested in biology. I'm just interested in those things. I think you got to find things you're interested, passionate about, and kind of like feed off it. Now, there are things I don't like so much, but I do it anyway. And I feel that, you know, you got to make your peace with that. There's certain things that need to be done, and sometimes you're going to have to bite the bullet. You know, like I like my diet. I like to diet, but I also love to feast. And sometimes I remind myself, look, I can't feast now. I got to be good for a while and earn a good healthy feast meal. You know, I gotta earn a meal one day. So maybe I do 2-3 weeks, I'm really good, I'm in good shape, I'm healthy. Okay, one meal won't change anything, and then I'll feast. You know, because I love like foods I ate when I was a kid. My mom's cooking, sometimes she makes stuff and I just want to eat. You know, I just love food, but I know I gotta bite the bullet. I gotta stay disciplined. So what I do is I don't say no. I just wait. Okay, in 2 weeks I'll have that meal. I wanted that meal. Okay, I'll write it down so I don't forget. And I'm like, oh yeah. And here's the other thing. I eat a lot of delicious foods, but healthy versions. Okay, so I do a lot of healthy versions of hamburgers, pizza. Guys, I recently got gifted a Ninja Creamy. Guys, I want you to all stop and listen carefully. Get yourself a Ninja Creamy. It's changed. I've had it now for I think 4 or 5 days. I've gotten back home. How many days has it been? Sunday. What are we today? Sunday. I had it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. 4 days I've had it. I've had it 4 days in a row. I got it as a gift before I traveled, so I didn't get to use it. When I got home, I got to use it, and it blew my mind. The Ninja Creamy. 2 ingredients, okay? You can do it with Greek yogurt and protein powder, or you can do it with oat milk and protein powder. So I do oat milk. I put in like maybe 200 grams of oat milk. The rest is water and protein powder. I put 2 scoops of protein powder. So I'm getting like 50 grams of protein. No more. I think like 54 grams of protein for only like 300 something calories. That's a crazy amount of protein for such a low amount of calories, and it's delicious. It's so good. The Ninja Creamy literally makes it your protein powder velvety. It's a protein shake, okay? It's a protein shake, but made into ice cream. And I'll tell you something. When you eat your protein shake, I've discovered recently, in the last 4 days, I've been eating like 1 or 2 pints. I love it. So I have my Ramadan meal and then I eat my ice cream. That's my dessert. It's super guilt-free. I have no guilt. Why? It's so low in calorie. It's so high in protein. It's really amazing. But here's the thing. When you're eating ice cream, you're dissolving it in your mouth. You're breaking down the sugars of the protein. You're breaking those proteins down. You don't get gas. Because the one thing I hate about protein shakes is it gives gas. I've noticed that, because I take protein shakes, I've noticed now that it completely eliminates the gas. So one, it's a much more enjoyable way to get your protein. Far more enjoyable. Like a protein shake versus a creamy ice cream pint. I would say ice cream pint is 8.5 on 10 enjoyable. A protein shake is like a 6 on 10 enjoyable. Okay, if you compare them. Even a 5.5, it's not that enjoyable. Especially if you're going to have that low calories, you're not putting any sweeteners or anything. It's not fun. A protein shake is okay. However, once you put it in the Ninja Creamy, man, it's just amazing. And I'm assuming it's going to get absorbed better. It's more enjoyable. It's at the end of the day, I'm having my ice cream now. It's like, what a crazy, great treat. And I don't feel guilty about it at all because, in Ramadan, your willpower is a little bit lower. You want to reach for that dessert. No. I just have my Ninja Creamy. Now, the Ninja Creamy machine is quite expensive. I believe I got it as a gift, but I looked it up. I think it was like $400 or something. Because I had heard about it. I have friends who got it. They were like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. I just never got around to getting one. And then one of my students gave it to me as a gift. And I've been enjoying it for the last 4 days. It is really, really good. I highly recommend you guys start making. And there's so many ways to make your ice cream. Like I make mine really ultra healthy. You could be a little bit more fun, add stuff to it, but it's a healthy. You can make very healthy ice creams, and the ice creams are incredible. It comes out incredible. Salam from Lebanon. It skipped. Sorry, my friend. I lost your message. Give me 1 second to find it back. You named it Strong and Stable Cat. That's from Ryan. No, I named him Falcon. Falcon. I love that name. I love the name Falcon. I went to UAE and they had this surveillance thing that was called the Falcon Eyes, where they like basically cameras around the city. And of course they had falcons everywhere. They're a big falcon a culture. They've hunted with falcons. I was like, man, I love the falcon. The falcon's such a majestic, incredible animal. And then when we got the cat, I was like, oh, let's name him Falcon. After much back and forth, we finally fell on the name Falcon. Salam, Coach. Ayman Zahabi went on Ariel's show and said that if the price is right, you would compete in UFC. Is that true? ? Yes, that is true. I can confirm that for you. Have you ever been approached about making UFC debut? That's from Rasul. We've talked about it in the past. Okay, ancient history. We've talked about it a few times. It come up, and I even wanted to do the Ultimate Fighter once upon a time. And George St. Pierre called, and he was like, "Look, I'll put my coach," and he was like on the phone with Joe Silva, and he's like, "I'll put any amount bet with the UFC. Anybody who wants to take my bet, my guy's gonna win." He was betting on me. And I was like, oh man, that's crazy. Like, George, these guys are millionaires. Like, they're going to put like money up, he's like, I'll put any amount. Just take my guy. He's going to win it all. And we were agreeing to it. I agreed to it. He's like, okay, we're going to live in the house. I was like, perfect. Okay, let's do it. But I need to have a professional record because I only fought as an amateur. I did very well in amateur. I'd won, a bunch of stuff, but I never fought pro. And they're like, no, he has to have 2 professional fights minimum or else we can't take him. So that was the big nail in the coffin. The commission wouldn't allow. But I was supposed to be on the Ultimate Fighter. Then after that, I was talking with one of the matchmakers. I won't say his name because maybe he doesn't want to be, brought out about this. But he's like, hey, I heard you got the stuff. Let's do it. Let's do a fight for you. I said, okay, great. I gave him my price. He's like, oh, that's way too much. I'm like, come on, man. You serious? That's not that much. Like, that's what I would want. Like I'm training like 30 professional fighters and I'm training so many people. Like, you want me in the octagon? Let's do it. Let's do something good. I'm not going to start with the base pay. Like, I just thought it was crazy. I'm not going to, I think about what I have to do a fight. I'd have to take like 3-4 months off. I have to like really organize my training. I'd have to take care of my training of myself. I have to like put everything I have on pause. It would just be crazy venture for me. It'd have to be worth my while. And they were like, no, that's way too much. We're going to have to wait and see. And it just never went anywhere. There were a few other times too. We talked about it, but, that was a long time ago. I'm 5'11", 280. Haven't trained in 5 years. Married and kid. I got back into the gym, doing cardio and strength, and want to get back into martial arts. Advice. That's from Chill Yemen guy. I would tell you, look, go slow, step by step. Start with body weight training and your jiu-jitsu, your martial arts your practices. Don't start with the weights right away. Okay, the body weight is more forgiving. Okay, so I would tell you, do your martial arts training. Make sure you have a very good warm-up. Do your martial arts training. Work within a margin of safety. Don't go too crazy. And then start doing pull-ups, push-ups, dips, lunges. I'm a big believer in lunges to keep your body healthy. Abs. Do a little bit every day. Develop your tolerance. And then from there, start graduating to more intense type of training. GSP is a button pusher. That's from Matthew. Matthew, he's a very, very poor button pusher. Like, I know I'm really bad. I'm trying to be a good student here, but like if I'm here If I'm here, like, and that's really low, George is like down here. Like, he's really, really behind. Like, I can out button push him any day of the week. And that's not saying much, okay? It's like if I'm a blue belt, he doesn't even have a gi on. Like, he's really bad at button pushing. He's very, very bad at button pushing. I remember, like, he had a flip phone for years. I had a smartphone, and I was like, man, get a smartphone. He's like, no, they don't work, those phones. I'm like, what do you think I do? I'm walking around with a device that doesn't work. Of course they work. He's like, like it's easy. You push the button and it works. I'm like, George, man, it's not that complicated, man. It's an iPhone. You got to get one. And I'm telling you, it took me 2 or 3 years of making fun of him all the time, making fun of him and his flip phone and this, and then he finally got a smartphone, and I kind of showed him how to use it. And he's like, wow, it's intuitive, it's easy, it's doable. He's not a button pusher, man. I'm telling you, he's not very good at button pushing. Coach Zahabi for ruler of the world. He's got my vote. That's some ghost. Ghost, you're a gentleman and a scholar. Let's hope one day that occurs. I'll let you live. You'll be one. You know what, Ghost? You'll be on my right-hand side. You'll be at the buffet table. You'll be with me. I'll be like, that's Ghost, man. He believed in me the first day. You'll be out there with me, sitting on the big table with plenty of food. It'll be amazing. Cheap at $90K. That's what I'm saying. Now's the time to buy Bitcoin. All of you guys belly aching that Bitcoin is too expensive. Now's the time, man. Get on it. Get on Bitcoin. Coach, did you hear about Satyev's death? No, Satyev is not dead. Hold on a second. No way. No way. Please tell me this is not true. Ex-Putin MP dies after plunging from window? No. 2 days ago. Oh, no. Satyev died. Arguably the greatest wrestler ever. Russian Olympian champion turned lawmaker dead after falling from window? Oh, no. Buvaisar Satyev, 3-time Russian Olympic freestyle wrestling champion who later became a member of the President Vladimir Putin's ruling United Russia Party, was reportedly found dead after falling from a window. Newsweek reached out to Russia's foreign minister for comment by email. The context: since Putin's full-scale invasion of Ukraine began in February 2022, a series of mysterious deaths have claimed the lives of prominent Russian figures, including tycoons, businessmen, oil executives, many of whom reportedly fell from windows under suspicious circumstances. Russian sport officials said that Satyev, a former State Duma deputy and Chechen descent and assistant to the head of Dagestan, had died at the age of 49 in Moscow. Speaking to state-run news agency TASS, the country's sports minister, Mikhail Degtyarev, describes Satyev's death as premature and tragic without elaborating. Baza, a Telegram channel with links to Russia's security services, said Satyev may have fallen out of a window. Oh man, this smells like foul play, obviously, but that's heartbreaking. I'm a big fan of Satyev, a huge fan of his wrestling. Incredible. I'm very sorry to hear that. My condolences to the Satyev family. Really, I'm surprised. He died 2 days ago, but they're saying he fell out of a window. Goodness gracious. A wrestler like him doesn't just fall out of windows. No, it's not. It's hard to believe. Let's just say it's incredibly difficult to believe. Coach, they're saying lung issues from medication from COVID effect. That's from calisthenia. No, come on. Nah, I really don't. They're saying he fell out of a window. Goodness gracious. Sheikh's thoughts on Badr Hari as a fighter. That's from Ryan. Well, I've heard he's in bad shape right now. Let me see. Has he won any of his? I haven't been following him. Badr Hari. Look, I like his fighting. I don't like his attitude. Like, he does a lot of crazy stuff. It's not my thing, you know. Like, if I was in the room with him, I'd just walk out. You know, I've heard a lot of crazy things about him. I don't want to judge the guy. I don't know the guy, but I mean, okay, he's lost. Wow, he's on 1. Okay. Overturned no contest against Alistair Overeem. no contest. So loss, no contest, no contest, loss, 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 no contest, unanimous, 3 rounds. Why is it a no contest? Goodness gracious. Another loss. So he hasn't won since 2016. He hasn't won a fight since 2016. He's been on a major slide. Okay, of course he was one of the greats, but obviously now he's on a major, major slide. Hasn't fought in 2 years. Are button pushers allowed in your gym? That's from Epic Venge. Yes, actually encourage them because I always need button pushing help. I love the button pushers, guys. Train jiu-jitsu. It's really good for the button pushers. Why? Because jiu-jitsu is a thinking man's game. Button pushers are thinking type people. They're really intelligent. They're very like sophisticated. So I think they get a kick out of jiu-jitsu. You know how the jiu-jitsu game is played. You know how tactical it can be. So I think the button pushers usually love jiu-jitsu. Coach, thoughts on Kung Lee, especially his style of flying Kani Basami? That's from Chris F. Chris, you're right. He had a great flying Kani Basami. He was great. I love Kung Lee. I used to watch him all the time and almost never missed one of his fights. I love how smart and intelligent he was. He was super technical. You learned so much from him watching him fight. And he had great takedowns as well. He was really cool, you know, because he had great kickboxing, great takedowns, fantastic shape. He went into UFC. He had some really good fights as well. He was doing very well against Vanderlei Silva. I think Vanderlei TKO'd him, if I remember correctly. I was there, actually. Yeah, I remember actually being in the locker room. I think when he came back in the locker room, I was there for another fighter. I can't remember who, but yeah, I remember that night. He was really upset about it. 9-3, 7-1 in Strikeforce. He was Strikeforce champion as well. He was 2-2 in UFC. He beat Mike. No, sorry, he lost to Michael Bisping. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna rewatch that fight. I'm not remembering that fight. He got stopped with knees and punches in round 4, 57 seconds in round 4. He beat Rich Franklin, a former UFC champion. That's incredible. Punches round 1. He beat Pat Cote, unanimous decision. He lost to Vanderlei Silva, knee and punch in round 2 at 4:49. So there was just like 11 seconds left. I remember that fight. I remember it going Kung Lee's way. And then it just, I think Vanderlei just lit him up with a combination, just got caught. But Kung Lee, a very cerebral, very intelligent guy, very entertaining as well. He beat Scott Smith in Strikeforce. He lost to Scott Smith and rematched him and beat him. He beat Frank Shamrock. I believe that was for the title, if I remember correctly. Oh, no, Frank lost the belt. Okay, Frank probably, really past his prime. Still, though, I mean, Kung Lee was a very entertaining fighter. And you guys should check him out. He had a lot of nice technique. Very nice stuff. He used to do a lot of nice stuff in the octagon. Manosh Zatar or Jibne? That's from Mediocre King. I love both. But if I had to choose one, I would pick Jibne. I'll pick the cheese. The Jibne, guys, is the cheese. Zatar is like a bread with like a certain spice, like a fatty spice. But Jibne is like the cheese. The cheese. We're talking about pure pleasure here. I would choose the cheese. Sensei, salam coach. A Christian told me Muslims venerate Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam to a point of worship. How would you respond? That's from Sensei. That's an absurd claim. I mean, there's no school of thought. There's no school of thought that worships any man in Islam. None. Now you can find a sect here and there. You can find like non-scholarly sect. Ask any scholar who's not Muslim. Ask any scholar, is Muhammad God? They're gonna tell you no, strictly not. It's explicit in the Quran. So, I mean, I don't like why people do that, say that. It's just so like weird. It's just like, I find it so like, I hate to say it, but like brain dead. It's like you have to be brain dead to say something like that. Like, you have to be brain dead. Like, I want to be nice. I always try to entertain every idea and be polite and kind, but this is like total brain dead. Like the guy just wants to say something shocking. It's just totally brain dead. That's all I don't have any other words to explain it, because I mean, if you ask any scholar, the Muslims and the non-Muslims, They're all unanimously going to tell you. When I say all, I mean 99.9. Okay, you're always going to find a hair somewhere, some guy who's going to say the opposite. But not a scholar. No scholars will tell you that Muslims worship Muhammad. Like, it doesn't exist. This is absurdity. That's why it was so embarrassing when David Wood went to debate Muhammad Hijab. And he was trying to teach us Arabic. Like, he's trying to teach Arabs Arabic. He doesn't speak Arabic, and he's trying to say, look, here the Arabic says that God worships Muhammad. It was so bad. Like, it was so... the worst argument you could come up with. Like, really the worst. Like, it was embarrassing. It was humiliating. It was a huge debate. Supposed to be like the two, guys who don't like each other. We're going to debate each other. And it was about Islam, the unity of God, one, Tawheed versus Trinity. And he's like, oh, you guys don't believe in one God. You guys believe Muhammad is a God too. Look, the Quran says God worships Muhammad in the Quran. It was insanely bad. Like, he could have, if he came up to us and said, look, these scholars who studied your religion, who got PhDs in Islam, these very well-studied figures who got the diplomas, who are very well respected in the field, say that Muhammad is worshipped by God in the Quran. That would be like, wow, okay, we got to contend with it. Yes, it's an appeal to authority, but it has weight, it has repute. We have to now argue with him. We have to say, hey, look, here's why they're wrong. Here's other scholars that disagree, and here's why they're wrong. Okay, it's not an appeal to authority if you give the why. Okay, it's only an appeal to authority if you think the authority guarantees the truth. No, authorities cannot guarantee truth. Okay, but you cannot point to even one scholar. So people all around the world for over 1,400 years have studied Islam who are not Muslim. None of them came to that conclusion except David Wood and his coach, who has no diploma. I guess two internet trolls came up with that idea. So it's kind of like I can't believe people even believe this. It's like, it's just insane. It's just such an insane, crazy, just ridiculous thing. It's so ridiculous. Hey, coach, how come you don't shave your mustache? That's from Lazy Bed. No, I trim it. I do trim it. It's just you can't really see it on camera, but it's trimmed. Yves Loev has a degree in computer programming and law. Is he the pound for pound button pusher? That's from William. Really? Does he? Does he have a degree in button pushing? That's amazing. Guys, I'll tell you something. I love my degree. I got a degree in philosophy. But I would love to learn button pushing. I would love to have learned button pushing. I didn't know it was going to be such an important thing in my life. Like, button pushing is really important. Fixing these computers, learning it. It's just such an incredible skill. Now, I wish I had the time to learn it. How do you feel about you or your fighters rolling/sparring with fighters who are juiced to the gills? That's from June. June, I will tell you, I do it because I want to test my jiu-jitsu and I want to feel the difference. And I just think it's a reality. Sometimes you're going to go up against guys who are going to be on juice. I hate to say it. It's unfair. It's totally unfair, but it's going to happen, and I hate to say it, but it's jiu-jitsu especially. MMA, it's more regulated now, especially in UFC, but in jiu-jitsu, it's crazy. People are on juice. It's crazy, and they're not that good. That's why they take the juice, right? So they can get good. And in my opinion, if you do juice, you can never be that good because you never understood technique. You never understood it. You always cheated. You always had extra strength. You always cut corners. You don't know that if it would work without it. I think when I'm 50 years old, I'm going to start the juice, to stay young and healthy and strong. Not a crazy amount. I'm not going to take like a bodybuilder level. I'm not going to do all Liver King. But when I do it, I'm going to be honest about it. I'm going to say, look, this is what I do. This is what I take. This is how I take it. I'm going to do it with an endocrinologist, somebody who's, studied in this, somebody who's going to follow me and make sure my testosterone levels stay healthy. Right now I'm 45 and my testosterone levels are very good. My health is very good, so I don't feel I need it. A lot of guys my age, I got guys do it started 30. That's crazy. I find that's crazy. 30 years old, you're young, man. I feel very good at 45. But at 50, if I don't feel good, I might push it a little further, but if I don't feel good, I would go on the hormone therapy to better my health and make myself stronger, healthier, better bones. But I will have done, so many years of jiu-jitsu. Like, I get the technique. I understand it. But at this stage of my career, I'm doing it at my age against guys who are on juice. That means the technique is just correct, perfect. It has to be exact. And as a trainer, I like that challenge. I want to make the technique exact. How does it work exactly? Coach, I know you're a big Aldo fan, but what does it mean to you to have your brother's next fight be against a legend in your hometown? That's from Rasul Ways. That's a good, really good comment and question. Look, I love Jose Aldo. My brother's fighting Jose Aldo next. I think my brother's ranked 13. Jose Aldo, I think, is like ranked 9th or something like that. Like, they're very close in ranking. It makes sense. Look, guys, he's fighting a legend. It's a dream come true. Aldo's a vicious fighter, man. I've watched almost all his fights he's ever had. He's one of my absolute favorites. He's explosive. He's incredibly difficult to take down. He has incredible combinations. He's exciting. Like, he's just an incredible fighter. And of course, he brings a lot of memories back. When we see his face, we think about all the great fights he's been in, how many times he's entertained us. But when the fight night comes, we have to put that all to the side, and we got to fight him at our best. It's going to be a very difficult fight. This is a very difficult fight. So, two very strong strikers. We're going to bang it out. I think it's going to be a fan favorite type fight, because my brother's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's a very good wrestler. Jose Aldo's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's a very good grappler and wrestler, of course. But these guys, they don't like to use it. They like to strike, and their hearts, they're strikers, even though, believe me, I make my brother do tons of wrestling and tons of jiu-jitsu. And I'm hoping one day he uses it. I'm hoping one day, like all these years, man, I've been training you in wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Like, he has it, believe me. He has it. He's very hard to take down. He's very hard to hold down. I think he's been taken down only one time in his career. I think when it was his first fight. But I can't think of him ever being taken down. And Jose Aldo has been taken down a handful of times. He's fought everybody. So they're both super hard to take down. Okay, let's put it that way. Even though they will get taken down occasionally here and there, but just really hard to hold down, really hard to take down. And if they get on top of you, it's a nightmare. Like, these guys they're really good. Are we going to see any grappling in that fight? I don't know. I don't know. But they love boxing, these two. They love kicking and punching. It's going to be an exciting fight. And of course, it's going to be history. UFC coming back to Montreal, getting to fight Jose Aldo. You're getting a chance to mix it up with one of the best ever. After GSP, Montreal hasn't been hosting at the UFC. Let's make your brother the new flagship fighter for Montreal. That's from JJ, inshallah. You're a gentleman and scholar. Thank you. But I hope we were able to do that. And of course, it will be great to have UFC in Montreal more often. It's been too long. It's been 10 years, I believe, since the last time they were here. And let's see what we can make happen, inshallah. Coach, have you gone to Dagestan before? That's from Water. No, I haven't. Never been to Dagestan. The man from Nepal. My man from Nepal. Salam, Coach. If you can save the world, will you be a politician? Yeah, if I could save the world, yeah, of course I'd be a politician. I would love to be a politician, guys. I wish one day to be a politician. Socrates said it best. He says, we're never going to have, a well-run world. We're never going to be successful until our kings become philosophers or our philosophers become kings. Now, I don't think that's totally true, but I think there's some truth to that. The guy at the top has to be a really cerebral, ethical, moral, and open-minded human being. Somebody who could take advice and, he's not full of ego and whatnot. And I think most politicians are very egotistical, selfish. They really just focused on their own career. They'll move the pieces on the chessboard, but really at the end of the day, it's to reflect their benefit and the ones near to them. I really see that in a lot of world leaders. They're always concerned about themselves. It's quite saddening. Coach, why didn't you train with Tony Ferguson? That's from Smoke TJ. It was just a logistics thing, okay? I would love to train him. I invited him. He wants to come. He had things going on. I had things going on. It just didn't connect, okay? That's really all it is. I would love to have worked with him and helped him out, but I'm also super busy. He's super busy. It just wasn't we couldn't find the right times, okay? Coach, thoughts on LeBron or Jordan? That's from Water. Guys, I'm from the Michael Jordan generation. I don't even know LeBron. Like, I've seen him on TV. I've never seen him do basketball. Okay, but I've heard his name. Of course, he's super famous. I heard he broke the records for most points scored or something like that. But I don't watch basketball. I really don't get any basketball. Like, I have I have some nephews that are really into basketball. I watch them play sometimes. Sometimes we play in front of my house, like really amateur. Like, I'm an amateur basketball player. Like, traveling is not. What do you mean traveling? I'm allowed to run with the ball. Like, we're thugs playing basketball. That's what it is in front of my house, So, but it's not. It's not that I don't like the sport. I love the sport. It's cool. I just don't have the time. Coach, how do you stay hydrated during Ramadan? Well, right here, my brother. Look at this. Look, I'll tell you something. Today, I went to the bathroom. I saw, whoa, I'm not hydrated at all. That's why I'm trying to chug this thing. I think I downed 3 of these today. See how, like, I use a jar because there's no cup big enough, So I have to buy a jar. Coach, how do you keep that hairline so strong at 45? Genetics? That's from Lazy Bed. I think it's probably genetics. I don't know much about hairlines, but I'll tell you one thing. One thing that's really, really, really ultra important is hydration. Because if you look at statistics, if you look at people in the past, we look at their pictures, they look really old. Like 16-year-olds, they look like 30-year-olds. It's crazy. 40-year-olds, they look like 60-year-olds. It's insane. And statisticians started looking into the data, and they realized that when drinking water became popular, people started looking younger. When drinking water, because in the past, people didn't drink water bottles. It was insane. Why would you buy water? You go to the well and get as much water as you want. Why would you buy water? It was like a marketing thing. People had to start understanding that buying water makes sense. You want fresh, clean water. And water is such an important drink. And there was a whole campaign about how to drink water. And drinking water is good for your health, etc. And it's very true. And now when you look at the whole water boom, when there was a water boom, people started buying water filters for their home. People started buying bottled water for their homes. It became a thing. It became a new market. They noticed that people started looking younger. Looking younger. Now, again, this is ad hoc. It's one thing correlating with another. We're not sure. There's no hard proof, but it makes sense. It makes sense. Think about it. Every cell in your body needs water. So at the end of the day, if you look at like 16-year-olds right now, they don't look anything like the 16-year-olds in the 50s and 60s. It's like really, it's incredible. So it's such a change, and it's correlated. They correlated to water. It's quite interesting. Of course, also now we know more about nutrition. We eat better, vitamins, etc. But still, the water was a heavy correlation. Craziest hairstyle you ever had? I used to have a mushroom cut when I was really young. Like when I was a young teenager, I used to have it like long on top, have like curly hair, and then shaved here. That was my cut. I was always do a mushroom cut. Every other month, I have to do a mushroom cut. So it'd be long here. And there was a time where like a little bit long in the front, and I was just kind of comb it down, and everything was shaved on the side. So it was like almost like a what do you call it? A buzz cut, like a jar head kind of cut, a little bit. And then after a while, I was just shaving it. Just shave it, man. Grow a goatee and shave it. Grow a beard, I should say. Sheikh, is couscous Moroccan or Algerian? You're going to get me in a lot of trouble here. Gordon Ramsay says Morocco has the best cuisine in the world. Really? Did he say that? Wow. Listen, I go to Morocco quite regularly, and I love the cuisine. It's really incredible. Now, I think the couscous does probably originate from Morocco because they got it down. Like I've never been to Algeria. I wish to go one day, but the best couscous I've ever had in my life, there's no doubt about it, it's Morocco. And Morocco does have incredible cuisine. Now that you bring it up, I mean, I've had some incredible meals in Morocco. It is quite incredible. But if Gordon Ramsay said that, that's crazy. That's insane because he knows his food. Hollow Eclipse asks, signs of fake friends and real ones, ? Cut off some friends because they would talk sugar because I don't work trades and work security. I do security because of injury. That's from Hollow. Hollow, look, I'll tell you something. A good friend, they say, stabs you in the throat. What does that mean? When he's got something to criticize you, he tells you to your face. Doesn't say behind your back. So if your friends criticize you, consider, are they being honest? Or are they just trying to put me down? Because maybe they're being honest. Maybe they see you as a security or whatnot, and they think you could do better, and they think they know you, and they think you're kind of wasting your talents. Maybe you have some talents that they're trying to get you to exploit and whatnot. It could be that they're a good friend. So consider that. You know, a good friend stabs you in the throat. He tells you straight up. Like, I have some friends of mine that I'll tell you, like, if we're in a closed room, I could say anything to them and they won't get offended. And I'm that kind of guy as well. Like, if I know you and we're friends, if we're in a closed room together, you could say absolutely anything to me, I won't get offended. Like, if I trust that person. And there are people like that in my life, or if they tell me something and I might not like it, I'm going to reflect, I'm going to think about it, and I'm going to make changes because I trust that person. So if that person is not very close to you and they're just doing that, maybe they're venting, maybe they're frustrated in their life. There could be so many reasons. So that I would tell you, look, that's more of an acquaintance, keep them at arm's reach, not really your close friend. But don't necessarily take criticism as a bad thing. You know, I find people are maybe a little too sensitive nowadays. Sometimes people criticize you and you should listen. Now, I know it hurts, but here's the thing. The pain is there to teach you something. When somebody criticizes you, it hurts. But that pain is there to teach you something. Now, it teaches you something. Once you learn that lesson, the pain goes away. Generally speaking, not all pain, but most pain, not all, but most, is there to teach you something. Once you learn that something, the pain seems to go away. So don't take it as necessarily just it being vile and hatred or whatnot. Maybe that's a good friend. If somebody you grew up with, somebody that cares about you, somebody that's, you know, when you were down, they helped you out. Okay, they showed their true colors. If that's the case, maybe take their advice. Consider it at least. Okay, guys, I'm going to end this very shortly because it's 1:42 and it's 12:30 a.m. where I am. I hope you guys are ready for bed very soon. Let's end it on a fun one, something fun. Correct answer. Next time you're there, home to my house. What's that? Correct answer. I'm not sure what that means. Correct answer. Next time you're there, home to my house, and we rat it, coach. I'm not sure what that means. I wish you would have spelled it more carefully. Oh, you're talking about couscous. Yeah, we're going to have a couscous. Brother, if you bring me couscous, man, you're going to get a kiss from me. You're going to get a kiss from me, that's for sure. I love couscous. Coach, hey, Coach, do you think smoking marijuana affects your mental focus and IQ? That's where men developed. Look, I'll tell you something. I have a lot of friends who do that kind of stuff that, you know, they're over the years working with me, or I know them for a long time, and they smoke every day, and that's their thing. That's their lifestyle. It's not my lifestyle. I don't do that, me personally, okay? But I know people who do it as for fun, you know, and like they're in the gym, you see it, guys who are really hooked on it, you know, every day they got to do it, and they train or whatnot. And I have friends, of course, when I went to college, people would do it every day. I find it as they get older, I've noticed a pattern. They have like paranoia, emotional instability, ups and downs, emotions. I don't know if it's correlated, but I've noticed the guys who did a lot of drugs for so many years, they have these downs, like emotional downs, like they're depressed and they're hurting and they're like go through these weird phases in life where like they can't function. They can't get up and function. Like just doing their day to day. They were so good for 20 years and all of a sudden they can't function. And also paranoia. They think everybody's against them. They think everybody's out to get them. Always like there's always this up and down. Things are normal. Things are really bad. Things are normal. They're unstable. And they always think everybody's out there messing with them, tricking them, using them. They're so paranoid. Now, they're not under the influence at the time. They're completely sober and they think this person over there is conspiring against me. Like they have this kind of so many guys I know that do this on a regular basis. They all seem to have this one characteristic where they think everybody's against them. They're connecting dots that I don't think are there. Like they're putting dots together. This person's against me. It's always something about conspiracy or paranoia. Always. And they have these downs, man. I'm telling you. So I would tell you, I don't know the studies. I would read up on it, but I would try to avoid it at all costs. Like you don't want to harm your brain. You know, I think there's nothing better than a sober mind. There's nothing better. You don't need to have, you don't need to be intoxicated to enjoy yourself. I think that's something you got to get past. A lot of people think, I'm going to get intoxicated, I'm going to have enjoyment. No. You can have enjoyment without it. You just got to learn how. Coach, your thoughts on music, halal or not? That's from Ryan. Do you listen to it? You're a gentleman and a scholar. Can't get enough of your AMAs. Ryan. Jazakallahu khair. Thank you. Look, I agree with Ghazali. Music is halal. Ghazali said it beautifully. He says, look, if music is haram, somebody tell the birds. Because the birds, they sing, right? And God made the birds. So how could you say God made the bird and the bird is singing and that's haram? Okay, now Ghazali was very nuanced. He said, look, it's not if music is haram or not. It's some music is haram and some is not. Like if the song is saying kill, murder, shoot, rape this girl, kill this person, throw them off a bridge, that's haram music, man. You're putting bad ideas in people's heads. Okay. But if the music is positive and halal in terms of content, it's not talking about shaking this and touching that and grabbing this and throw. If it's proper music, if it's positive, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I agree with Ghazali. I think he makes a lot of sense, especially his bird comment. I think it makes total sense. Why would God forbid all music? So there are some hadiths that go against that, but I think they either could have been. Don't forget, Ghazali was not an expert in hadith, so I think he would have problematized them. He would have said, "Look, these hadiths they're not necessarily authentic." I think he would have challenged that. Now, again, I'm not an expert in hadith, okay, so I don't want to get into that waters because I don't know. I have read Ghazali's works very well, very thoroughly, and he was saying, look, it's not music haram or halal. It's the type of music, the content in the music. It can be bad. It can be good. Coach, do you think magic was used in UFC? That's from Abdi Fatah. I don't know much about magic. That's another topic I haven't studied. And what do you mean by magic? What are we talking about here? I'd have to look into it more. I know there's references to that, but I know a lot of people say Powhatan does this and that. I'd have to look into it. I want to keep an open mind and I want to look into it and not necessarily Powhatan's claim, but what does it mean exactly? I don't know. Honestly, I just want to make a comment on that. Okay, guys, let's end it on something fun. Edgar, I don't want to get in that topic because that's a really profound topic. It's a very, very profound topic. It's not for the end of the show. Let's do it on another day. And again, I'm not an expert in that, so I don't even want to go there. Prime Silva versus DDP. That's from Rex. I think because of DDP's takedowns, I will pick DDP. So Prime Silva versus Prime DDP. DDP is not as dominant as obviously Silva is. He still has a long way to go to do that. But Anderson Silva was the most dominant middleweight. But if they fought, their styles, I think, would clash in the favor of DDP. Thank you, Robbie G. Prime Carlos Condit versus Prime Khabib. That's from Anonymous. I would tell you, I would pick Khabib. Khabib would get it to the ground. It was always Condit's fatal flaw. He didn't have that level of wrestling. Yes, Tanvir. Very, very good. Let me just put you in a timeout because you're kind of annoying. I have $20. Should I get strong and stable neck or strong and stable knees? I would say start with strong and stable knees. Definitely go for strong and stable knees. Hey, Coach, what do you recommend to Donald Trump to do to defeat Justin Trudeau? That's from Charles. I would tell Trump, look, to reconsider the tariffs. Do something else. Punish Canadians in a different way that doesn't harm the wallet. Maybe, I don't know. Just the tariff war is a really bad idea. I think it's going to set everybody into recession globally. We can really crash everybody's economy. when you change things around in the economy, you want to go one little thing at a time. You don't want to start something so radical. It's just too radical. You're risking so many people's livelihood. It's just so radical. And the thing is, Donald Trump's not going to miss a meal. His life's not going to change. He's going to be taken care of. He's a billionaire. Like, to him, it's all about ego. It's all about his name, his image. He doesn't care if me and you have to pay more for food, groceries, whatnot, Medicare and all that. Like, he doesn't care about that. Doesn't affect his life. I mean, if he did care, why would he start a trade war? Maybe he's doing some genius move that I don't see, but I really don't doubt it. I really doubt it. I don't think it's a genius move. I think it's just like his ego. Did you like Jordan Peterson before the BS? That's from Robbie G. I liked him before. I thought he was open-minded to dialogue with Muslims, and I thought that was great. And he was doing it with an open mind, and he was dialoguing with us, and it was going back and forth, and it was good. It was positive. I think Christians and Muslims should dialogue in a positive light, not in like a Jerry Springer type way that they do on the internet. I don't like that. I think that's the wrong way to go about it, especially if you're talking about religion. Okay, if you want to talk about politics, fighting, I still think it should be done in a good way, but not. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't. I get people like to be entertained, but don't do that with religion. Like, if there's got to be one thing off limits, especially in my opinion, it has to be religion. Because I mean, if there's nothing sacred, well, what kind of world do we live in? Can you have one sacred topic where we get serious here? We don't it's not about like getting one up on each other. It's not about like insulting one another. It's really about getting at the truth, like philosophizing and getting at the truth. Is that more important than entertainment? I think it is. But of course, we all like entertainment. We all like to kick back and enjoy ourselves. It's not a problem. But don't turn that. I just find people turn religion into too much of a circus. Every country can prosper. We can all prosper. We can and will fix this. I totally agree with you. You're 100% right. Every country can prosper. If you're a forward-thinking human being, you're looking for win-win solutions. Not we're first, we care about us only, and screw everybody else. Like, when you say America first, it's kind of like combative. It's kind of selfish, I think. We should put the good of all people first. We should try to cooperate and synergize. Ryan's on fire today. Sheikh, what would it take to get 2 AMAs per week from you? You accept bribes? That's from Ryan. Man, if I could do a shorter version, I would. Like, you guys maybe I was thinking, people ask me to react to videos. If you guys put in comments, Coach, react to this video, I'll do it, because I got that suggestion before and I thought that would be easy. I don't have to do a live. I just react to a video, give you guys my thoughts, and bounce off. Because for me, really, it's just time sensitivity. Just I'm so busy all the time. Does Islam account for the shape of the earth? Are Muslims flat earthers? That's from Diro Nomer. No, we're not flat earthers. Okay, so no, we're definitely not flat earthers. The Quran talks about how the sun coils around, not coils, but the earth coils around, and you like a turban. So your head is round, right? It has an expression where the night and day coil around the earth. Okay, I believe it's night and day. So ancient scholars would say, look, it must be round. Now the Quran also says the earth is like a canopy. A canopy is like a mat you put on the floor, right? But that doesn't mean it's flat. It never says it's flat like a canopy. It says like a canopy, meaning like when I put a canopy down, it's an expression like I'm welcoming you. If you come over and I put up a canopy, it's because we're going to eat, we're going to feast, we're going to lay down, we're going to hang out. So it's kind of an expression. But some people try to flip it to, oh, look, it's saying it's flat like a canopy. It actually never says flat like a canopy. It never says that. The earth was made like a canopy, like a welcome mat. So some people try to twist things, but ultimately speaking, there's hadiths that say the earth is shaped like an ostrich egg, which is like a warped egg. It's not perfectly round. That's what some people draw on that. But ultimately speaking, I don't think the Muslims ever believed the earth was flat. Ben Shapiro versus George Floyd in MMA. That's from Water. Guys, I don't think Ben Shapiro could beat anybody in MMA. Like, nobody. Not one guy. Not one human being on the earth would lose to Ben Shapiro. Okay, guys, I'm still going to end the show now shortly. I know I've been saying that, but I need a fun one. Something funny. Something light. Coach, I know there's already is a top G of the chat room. Can I be the big spender of the chat room? That's from Ryan. Ryan, you are officially now the big spender. The big spender of the chat room. Thank you for the $4.99. Thank you. Have you read Mein Kampf? That's from Water. No, I've read textbooks that refer to Mein Kampf and what it says and whatnot, but I've never actually myself read the book. It's quite interesting. I would probably get through it. I'm sure I would, just because of out of fascination, because what happened during that time. But my textbooks often refer to Mein Kampf here and there, so they would tell you what's in it. But I've never read it myself. No. How interested would you be in a potential Jake Paul versus Andrew Tate boxing fight? That's from Dero Nomer. Man, I don't know. I wouldn't pay big bucks to watch it, but I would watch it. But it's not like the most exciting fight for me. Coach, do you have any kinks? What's a kink? It's not what I hope it's not what I think it is. Sure. What? Never mind. Next question. Okay, guys, let's cool it with the super chats because I got to end this shortly. Coach, who would be the best dancer in UFC? That's from Larry Bird. That's a good question. Let me think about that. Who was the best dancer? Not sure, actually. Probably Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy Stephen Thompson. Probably him. He used to break dance, pop and lock and stuff like that. It was cool. Probably him, yeah. What if they ignore... Okay, this is a Hollow. Hollow was asking about friendship. What if they ignore what you have to say and don't believe in you and act like I'm not working hard, I'm doing rehab, and they act like I can work trades? Okay, well, Hollow, listen, man. I think you're being a little overly emotional here. It's okay, man. If they're your friends, they're criticizing you. If they're your friends, don't take it so seriously, man. I wouldn't take it so seriously. Don't be too much of a sensitive person, especially as a man. You shouldn't be so sensitive. My opinion, you gotta tell them, look, I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm gonna figure out my way. And I appreciate the advice, but I don't agree with you. That's it. That's fine. You can have your opinion. And if they nag you, well, maybe you should find some new friends. Maybe you don't want to have people nagging you. Now, I would only get to that level after I've considered that maybe they're correct. I would first consider, are they correct? And if I decide it's not, I'm going to tell them, look, straight up, I made my decision. That's the way it is. So you don't waste your breath anymore. So there you've been open-minded, but also you're not going to get pushed around. Okay, guys, now I'm really going to end it, but it's got to be something fun. Inshallah, Talal, inshallah. Okay, guys, this is it. Jalal says, Coach Faraz, is it safe to train 2 hours in BJJ in Ramadan before iftar? I tried 1 hour and it was fine. I wonder if I could stretch it to 2. That's from Jalal. Jalal, how about you stretch it to 1 hour 15 and then to 1 hour 30 and see how you feel. Don't go from 1 to 2. Let's go step by step, incremental, okay? Because also, as you go through the month, you're going to get weaker and weaker, a little bit more frail, perhaps. So, be sensible. It's only 1 month long, so be patient, and inshallah, you'll have a good Ramadan. Guys, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Guys, use Get55 off. It's on the bottom of your screen. Use that promo code, Get 55% off anything on JujuClub.com. I highly recommend the Strong and Stable series, and of course, Strong and Stable Knees. It's a life-changing video. Guys, get videos on boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. Top-notch stuff for the best possible price out there. You'll never find a better price. Guys, enjoy, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Thank you.